What can the Panthers build off of from their win? That's the only way the win matters, by the way. Yesterday, I think I was harsh. If you were listening to the show, I said that the win basically didn't matter. And the reason being, because if at the end of the year you're still the worst team in the NFL and you still end up in the trade with Bryce Young, sending the number 1 overall pick to the Bears, does it sting any less if you won 2 or 3 games rather than 1? Probably not, right? Probably not. So I said it doesn't matter, but that's not true. It only doesn't matter if you don't take things away from it that make you better in the future, right? A win only doesn't matter if all it is a check in the W column versus the L column. If it turns into something where Bryce Young took a step forward in one respect, or the team took a step forward in another respect, or you figured out an identity, right? If there's something you can take away from it that makes it more likely that you'll win in the future, and I'm talking even beyond this year into next year, then it matters. And every team, by the way, has those moments, right? You look back at the teams that have really flipped the script as of recent, the Lions, a little bit further back, the Bengals, maybe a little bit further back even than that, the Bills. And you have those moments where you look back and it could just be a regular season, seemingly nothing game, but something clicks. And from that point forward, they're a better franchise. Right? Think of the first time you saw Josh Allen kind of turn the corner on being one of the better players in the league. And you're like, oh, that's interesting. And then the Bills suddenly are winning a bunch of games.
The first time you saw him run over a defender.
While also like not being careless with the football. The first time he threw for, 350 and it didn't look like he was getting lucky. And it's like, oh, whoa, wait a second. Because we knew that he had an otherworldly physical skill set, right? We knew he could throw it 80 yards. But the thing out of Wyoming was like he completed 56% of his passes.
Yeah, now, I'm not expecting next week for us to see Bryce Young run over a member of the Packers secondary by any means, but...
No, but also, like, it didn't happen all at once for Josh Allen either. It's not like he had a great game and then the next one was better and the next one was better and the next one was better until eventually he's, in a full-scale duel with Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. It's just there's those little moments along the way where something clicks. And then a couple weeks later, something else clicks. And then suddenly it's an overnight success, but it really wasn't that. It was a million little successes that built up to the overnight success. Confidence helps. I say quarterback is a confidence position all the time. Quarterbacks, when their confidence is rattled, they don't play as well. And if it stays that way, if their confidence stays rattled and they don't get back, then it's going to be really tough for them to have a successful career. But confidence helps. And if Bryce Young built some confidence off of that last minute, 17-play game-winning drive, build off of it. Build off of it. Also, the defense has to realize their role. And I think this game can help them do that. And what I mean by that is the name of the game for the Panthers defense has to be turnovers. Has to be a priority. They have to seriously think about it. The Peanut Tillman punch, right? Like when somebody is getting tackled, the second person there needs to come trying to force a fumble.
Well, also remember, the Carolina Panthers hadn't forced a fumble up until the game on Sunday in their game against the Houston Texans, which is the last game that they won before this one.
It's I believe only the second game all year they've forced 2 or more turnovers. The forced fumbles has not been something that they've made any kind of habit of. That is what the defense needs to take away from it, because the defense has played really well this year. They have not given up a ton of points. They have not given up a ton of yards, right? They've despite being put in really bad situations by the offense, I think they've played solid most of the season, but they haven't gotten their hands on the football. It's time to start taking chances, right? If you're a corner, if you're a safety and you think you can get your hands on the football, go get it. If you're a linebacker and you see somebody in the grasp of a defensive lineman, run and try to poke it out. You have to, because your offense needs those Easy ones, right? They need them. It's the equivalent of like a transition layup in basketball. Try to shoot a passing lane, right? Try to jump a pass. If you tip it, you might get an easy layup, fast break dunk, which you need because you don't have a great offense in the half court. Now, are you going to give up some backdoor cuts where you're jumping a passing lane and they're breaking the other way? Yeah. But it's a measured risk for a team that needs it to get their offense going. And I think that's a game that can kind of show them that. And mostly what it can allow them to do, and this is what they need to take away, okay? If they can take anything away, the X's and O's of a game in the rain doesn't really matter, right? Because it's everything has changed. We started the show talking about third downs and red zone. Yes. But mostly it allows them to breathe. Chris Tabor, their interim head coach, gave them a day off earlier this year after a loss, which I don't agree with, by the way. I think he should have kept them coming in. But you have to think his reasoning is he was walking around the facility and it was like, the last day of finals week on a college campus. Everyone's eyes are bloodshot. Everyone's hair's disheveled. Everyone's they're carrying a backpack with just loose sheets of study guides hanging out, and everybody just looked like this zombie. And that's what happens when you lose a bunch of games in a row. Like, I'm sure that's why he gave them a day off after a loss, which doesn't happen often. And it's not even a true reset, because when you're in the middle of a long losing streak and coach gives you the day off, guess what happens? You just go home and worry about it the same way you would worry about it in the facility.
You sit in silence.
You take your iPad home with you and you sit on your own couch and watch film rather than sitting in the office chair at the facility and watch film. It's the same thing because you're so competitive you can't deal with it. A win is a true reset. A win is a true opportunity to catch a couple episodes of The Office. Right? You allow yourself to, order in your favorite takeout. And if they can do those sorts of things, maybe they play a little bit more relaxed this weekend. They're no longer the team on the long losing streak. They're definitely not the team on a long winning streak, but they're no longer the team on a long losing streak. They got to win. Not saying they have to win moving forward. I'm saying they got a win this week. That is massive. What can they build on? How about the fact that there are other professional football teams that you can beat, right? Go full Al Pacino any given Sunday, right? You're going to win or you're going to lose. That's what it comes down to. Up until now, I'm sure they were like, well, most of them were going to lose. It's a different beast. What can you build on? Relax. What can you build on? Play like you belong. Because it did look for a little while there like you didn't. It did. The other thing is, you get a win, you can worry about yourself a little bit, right? There's a very fine line between everyone in the NFL is coaching for their next job, right? Or playing for their next job, or auditioning for their next team, or trying to make, a big money splash in free agency, and team goals. After a loss, you can't say I'm trying to make sure I get my stats. After a win, you can kind of reset and go, all right, we got the win. Now let me look at me. Chris Tabor spoke with the media. He's the interim head coach. He asked what that win meant to him as a coach.
I don't think of it as a personal moment. I'm happy for the guys. I thought that they played really well. I thought we played complementary football. I thought the coaching staff did a really nice job of putting guys in position to make plays. And that's all I've really been focused on. I think maybe, at the end of the year, you can always look back and you self-reflect and those type of things, but I haven't given any of that any thought.
Interesting. He has given it thought. He has. He absolutely has.
Yeah, he's thought about if Steve Wilkes couldn't get the coaching job after he was interim head coach. What makes
Well, he might not be thinking about the Panthers job, but he's thinking about future head coaching opportunities. Everyone in the NFL is thinking about the next spot. You win, and it's kind of okay to have that conversation. You lose, and you have to say, I'm just mad that we lost. I don't know why I turned into a dog at the end.